Today I'm talking about my top 3 underrated slow burn horror movies because I recently checked out Oz Perkins' Longlegs, and to me that movie oozes slow burn. Plus, I don't know about you guys, but I absolutely love atmospheric slow burn horror movies. If it's done effectively, it has the opportunity to stick with you for a very long time, where you'll just be doing laundry, the next thing you know, that dreadful creepy scene is living in your head forever.
Forever, ever, forever, ever.
And don't get me wrong, I absolutely love like faster paced horror movies. I live for those final scenes with the final girl who's finally going up against the killer and she has her strength now. I get that much needed adrenaline. My armpits are sweaty. I'm literally sitting at the edge of my seat and I'm just ready to see a splatterfest. It's what I live for. It's what I adore. However, when I think about some of the most deeply upsetting horror movies that I've seen, they're usually slow burns. It's Zena, your best friend who loves horror, back in the horror library, so let's get on with this list. First up, let's talk about Before I Wake, 2016. This one, an orphan's child's dreams and nightmares manifest physically as he sleeps. This one is directed by one of the most celebrated horror filmmakers of the 21st century, Mike Flanagan. Before Mr. Flanagan gifted us with his Netflix series The Haunting of Hill House, The Haunting of Bly Manor, Midnight Mass, The Midnight Club, and The Fall of the Usher House, he gifted us with Before I Wake. Along with Ascensia, Before I Wake is very much underrated. So when it comes to Before I Wake, this one was delayed for years, and on top of that, I felt like it should have hit theaters because I really love this one. Clearly. So this one is about grief and it examines familiar trauma but through a child's lens. You definitely feel for the characters in these movies because they try to cope, but it doesn't seem healthy. And let's not forget, in true Mike Flanagan's fashion, this is the type of movie that you definitely need to watch more than once. And I say that because there are things in the background you might have missed the first time around. No spoilers. I feel like if you enjoy slow burn, dark fantasy, fairy tale horror, I recommend giving this one a go. And as you already know, what scares me may not scare you, but I will say this one scared me a different kind of way than other horror movies have. Like, I know there are some people who feel like this isn't a horror movie, but I do, so that's why it's on the list. I feel like this one has a lot of heart. Horror with heart. Horror with heart.
I've never ever heard anything like that in my life.
Next up, the Australian horror Patrick from 1978. A comatose hospital patient harasses and kills through his powers of telekinesis to claim his private nurse as his own. Okay, so this isn't a spoiler, but this patient, he previously murdered his mom and then he uses his telekinesis powers to hurt people. And for some reason, he chooses to terrorize his favorite nurse. He pretty much just lays there, he occasionally spits and he stares and his eyes are like wide open like all the time. And he's kind of a perv and he's a terrible person if we're just being honest. This atmospheric Australian psychokinesis horror is 100% my vibe. And the concept is so creepy to me. This one is very much a slow burn, but for me, there was never any boring parts. And warning, there are a lot of scenes that may make you feel very uncomfortable. I mean, I guess in some twisted way, maybe we can say this is a quirky feel-good rom-com of the 70s. I don't know, maybe not, because of the chaotic torture and the mind control and the violence and the murder. Never mind. And finally, Piggy, 2022. Adapted from the 2018 short of the same name, this one follows Sarah, an overweight teen who witnesses a stranger kidnap a clique of girls who bully her on a regular basis. When the police start asking questions, Sarah keeps quiet as she's torn between revealing the truth or protecting the man who saved her. So if you have not seen this movie, I bet based on the poster and the synopsis, you might be expecting a horror movie where the person who is getting bullied get revenge. However, not quite. Don't get me wrong, there's bloody revenge, but not in the way that you may think. This one is an uneasy coming-of-age horror with a major moral dilemma. I absolutely love the build-up and the suspense in this one. It lasts up until the final act. And the leading character, Sarah, her life just makes me so sad because she gets body shamed and bullied by everyone on a daily. And as the viewer, by the end of the movie, in some ways, we definitely understand the choices she made. And also, shout out to the director because she definitely knew how to like keep us on the edge of our seat. She definitely knew how to keep the tension going. She also did not hold back on the cruel and constant torment someone has to endure because of their size. And no spoilers, but if you're in the mood for a bizarre, slow burn, splattery horror, I recommend adding this one to your list ASAP. Alright guys, so that's my list. Let me know what are some of your favorite underrated slow burn horror movies. And thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time. The next thing you know, that dreadful creepy scene is living in your head forever.
Forever, ever, forever, ever.
Like and subscribe!